To get started using FigJam, we first need to sign into the platform. Head to figma.com/FigJam. We're going to click Login and continue with Google. Choose your APS Google account and sign in if needed. If you created a FigJam account before the APS integration, your default will be your team. You can see on the left-hand side here how it says My Name Team. If we click this drop-down menu, you do have a Albuquerque Public Schools Enterprise account now. Please click that to make sure that you are able to access all of the features of our accounts. On the left side here, you can see that you have your drafts, which is where all of your FigJam files live, unless you organize them. Teams are like file folders, and anything you have starred, any files or folders that you have starred will be here. Starting in the drafts, this is where you can create new files. Come up here to the blue button that says Create New and choose FigJam Board. Hot tip, there's a second way to create a new FigJam board. If you type figjam.new, it will start a blank file for you. Now let's get to know a FigJam file. Up here at the top, you have your toolbar. Your Figma menu is here where you can access things like importing, saving, view settings, arranging, things like that. The second option is your template gallery. This is where you could insert templates from FigJam and from other users. This is the comment bubble that allows you to give feedback, ask a question, or leave a note. Your students also can do this feature in view-only mode and in edit mode. In the middle, you have the title of your file. I always recommend titling it something. In the drop-down menu, you are able to view your version history here, duplicate and rename, and even move or delete the file. For some of you, these features might be in the FigJam menu here on the left-hand side. Next, you have your viewer list. Right now, it's just me in this file. Next, you have your timer, music, and voting. This is where you can start a timer for your session and it will count down and everyone on your board will be able to see it. You also have the option to add background music while your file is open, and then you can also vote. You can also create voting sessions here. Last, you have your share features. You are able to add collaborators, get a link, or even publish this directly to Google Classroom. The beauty of a FigJam file is that this whiteboard is an infinite canvas. If you use the zoom features to zoom in or out, you're going to see that the dots on the whiteboard change size. The space between them gets bigger as you zoom in and smaller as you zoom out. This is because this is an infinite canvas. Instead of having multiple pages, you instead have one big whiteboard that you can zoom in and out on. Let's talk about how to navigate through a FigJam file. Down here at the bottom, this is your tools bar. You're going to see that you have a select tool and a hand tool. When you think select, I want you to think interact. When you think hand, I want you to think move. So if you have the hand tool turned on, your cursor turns into a little hand symbol, and you're actually able to drag yourself around on the whiteboard, and you'll see the dots move. If you have the select tool, this is how you can interact with things you place on the whiteboard. You can also use your trackpad. If you pinch out, you zoom in. If you pinch together, you zoom out. And you can even swipe with 2 fingers to the right or left, up and down, and you can move around your whiteboard that way. Next tool is your marker. When you open your marker tool, you see that you have a variety of options. Your marker tool is exactly what it sounds like. It's a pen. You have different colors. You also have 2 thickness options. If you click on the custom color here, you can actually insert your own hex codes or choose your own custom color to use. Additionally, you have a highlighter tool. The highlight is a little see-through. And again, you have 2 thickness options there and lots of color choices. Next up is the washi tape. It's exactly what it sounds like. Your cursor turns into a little roll and you can drag and drop a piece of tape as a piece of decoration or even as a label. You can click the plus and upload your own custom washi tape. with your own custom logo on it. Last up here is the eraser tool. It will turn your cursor into an eraser, and as you hover over things and click, you will be able to erase the entire shape. That's the marker tool. Next up, you have sticky notes. Once you select the sticky note feature down here, you can see that you have your outline of a sticky note. You can just drop it right onto the whiteboard. A great feature of the sticky notes in FigJam is that the authorship is automatically added when sticky notes are put on the page. So you can see the user's name when they add a sticky note. So I have my hand tool selected, and you can see that that's making it so that I can move my sticky note around. But if I want to actually edit and write text, I have to switch to my select tool. So I can either select that down here in the toolbar, or I can hit the letter V on my keyboard to automatically switch. And now I can double click and open up my text box. When you have your sticky note selected with your select tool, you are able to edit the color of your sticky note. You have 4 default fonts that are included that you can change to. And you can also change the size of your font, which will resize the sticky note as well. You can make font bold or struck through. You can hyperlink something by pasting a URL here. You can also create a bulleted list within your sticky note. FigJam makes it really easy to add sticky notes in a line. If you hover over the blue dots, you see that they turn into pluses. When you click there, it adds a sticky note in line with the next one. So adding multiple is really easy. And all of the settings that occurred on that first sticky note will already be there for the next one. All right, so let's move for some white space, and let's talk about the next tool down here, which is shapes. You are actually able to add shapes and line connectors to create your own flowcharts in FigJam. So the first choice is what kind of lines or connectors, and then also what color. Here you have the opportunity to select different shapes. Once you select it, it will hover and you just have to place it. And then of course, you select it once and you'll get your drag bars that you can use to resize that shape however you need to. You can edit the color. You can also edit the outline. And then you can also edit it to a different shape right from this menu. If I wanted to add a connector, all I need to do is hover over that blue dot, click that arrow, and now I have another shape and a line connecting them. I can actually add text in between the lines here, so I just double tap on a line, and I can actually add font on the connector lines. If I were to click on a connector, I would simply start at one dot and then draw and drag to another dot on another shape, and now I have a connector. Really easy to create a flowchart of any kind using the shape and connector tools. All right, so moving around on our board here. Next up is a text box tool. It stamps a text box and you can type inside of it. Again, you can change the font color. You can change the actual font. You have a couple options, and then of course you can change the size. Bold, strike through, hyperlink. You can add it to a bulleted list. You can even start a mind map where it jumps to the next connecting thought. Next up is a section. This is going to allow you to group ideas together into what's like a page. But a section, if you grab it here and then drag over anything that you have in your FigJam file, it's going to group all of it together. And now if I try to move this around, everything is locked inside of that section, and it's contained now. You could also add sections to create pages. So if you wanted each of your students to work in their own section, you could have them label their section, and then that's the only place in their FigJam file that they get to work. You could also do this with tasks. You could have multiple sections for multiple tasks. Again, if you click on a section, you are able to change the color of it. You can rename it here, and you can even hide a section if there's work that students are going to need in the future, but you don't want them to see it. And you can unhide it there too. Now, while I'm here in sections, I do want to mention that this section has grouped these shapes together, but students can still delete these. So what I do want to mention is that you can right-click on a section and choose Lock. This is going to make it so that students cannot move or delete anything inside of that section. The downside is that they can also not edit anything. They could add a text box on top of this section now. They just cannot click inside of those shapes and add text to them. If you want to unlock that, simply click the unlock button, and now your text is editable again, and you can move things around inside that section. Next up, we have the table tool. Once you click on the table tool feature, you're going to drag and set it into place. And then all you need to do is click the plus on a row or a column to make it bigger. You can also drag it to make the boxes themselves larger. Each quadrant of your table will allow you to type text into it. And again, you can change the size of the font within it, the color, type of font, bold, hyperlink, all that good stuff. You are also able to recolor different boxes within your table. So perhaps you want students to respond to something, but you don't want them to add a text box. You don't want them to add a sticky note. You simply want them to type in a certain box in this table. You can go ahead and color code them however you want to, and students will know which one to go to. The next feature is really fun for positive engagement and feedback and student collaboration. This is the stamp tool. If you click on the stamp tool, you'll see that there are a variety of different choices of different stamps students can use. So if they want to show agreement or appreciation, they could choose something like the thumbs up stamp, and then they can go to anywhere on the FigJam board, stamp their response. They click on it again. Maybe they have a question about something. They can add a question stamp there. Or maybe they want to show that they reviewed this, right? They gave some feedback. They can even stamp their own Google icon. The beauty is that when we have our select tool turned on and we hover over these stamps, we can actually see who left that stamp. So as long as students are signed in, you'll be able to see who exactly stamped what and where. If students were to click on this emoji instead, these aren't stamps, these are called emotes. When you turn on an emote, it allows you to click and hold and react using one of these emojis. This could be distracting, but it could also be a way to give your students an opportunity to react and use their voice in a way that's really highly engaging. A quick classroom management tip could be for you to always have a section on your FigJam board called a parking lot. If you are finding that students are using a lot of emotes, a lot of reactions, their cursors are distracting, have them hover over the parking lot, leave their cursor there, and just watch what's happening, and then take turns. That could be a really great way to organize your FigJam file. All right, moving on over to some white space. The next thing I want to show you are the widgets and the more features. So go ahead and click the plus here, and you're going to see that you have lots of other options. Stickers are great. They're exactly what they sound like. Some of them you can even type in, but I can choose this sticker, make it a little bigger. This one even lets me type in here. And I can just add stickers to decorate or to label things. You also have your template menu here. Widgets are really cool and unique to FigJam. Some of the widgets that I'd like to point out to you include the voice memo widget. When you add a voice memo, it allows you or the students to record your voice and leave it stamped here on the file for other people to listen to. You could also record your own voice reading something aloud or giving directions, and the students would be able to listen to you when they're in the file themselves. So once that widget is in there, you can move it wherever you'd like, and then you click on the microphone. You record what you'd like to say. You have up to 30 seconds, and then press the stop when you're done. Now you are able to shrink this to be a little tiny dot. You can expand it to be a little bit bigger. You can even give your voice memo a title, and you can listen to it back, and then you can even click start over to re-record. Students can add that widget themselves, or you can pre-add a blank one without any details inside of it that students would just click on. The next widget that's really kind of neat is the photo booth widget. This allows you to click this red button here, and just like a Polaroid camera, it's going to connect to your camera, so you have to give it permission, but you're just going to take a picture like a Polaroid. And then it's going to print out, very nostalgic, and it's going to label it with their name. They can then drag that Polaroid around and move it, and it's just a way for them to add some content that is a little bit different to their FigJam file. I could also see this being really useful to show work or to show some sort of product that the students have worked on. Another really great widget is the alignment scale. If you add an alignment scale in here, you can ask them a question. Maybe it's a really silly question like cereal is a type of soup, or maybe it's a more serious content-based question. But what students would do is they would come in here and they would actually click and vote where they lie on the alignment scale of this question. Do they strongly disagree, neutral, or strongly agree? And then you can show the results, and all of their little icons will show up where they voted. You can also make this anonymous so that student names aren't connected to their responses. You can always keep the results hidden as well. And you can use the little eye feature, the little eyelash feature here, and then you can also reset it so you can try again. Another widget that I really love is the poll feature. Poll does exactly what you think it does. You could insert a question here, something that's multiple choice. So you can add a question here that you want students to respond to. Under the settings feature, you can choose to hide votes until that poll ends, and you can also choose to make it anonymous if you'd like to. Once you start the poll, students will be able to respond by clicking on the answer they think is correct. And then if you leave it anonymous, no one will be able to see. But this is a way for them to give some feedback. Maybe you vote on a class prize or the next project or the next book you're going to read, something like that. But that's a really fun way to up engagement inside of a FigJam file. It could also be a way for you to add some formative feedback opportunities inside of a FigJam. If this poll were here for students on an individual file, then it could be a way for you to see their thoughts individually too, responding to just a multiple choice question. After widgets, we have plugins. We have not enabled any of these plugins, but the More column actually allows you to access some more content and put it into your FigJam file. So when we tap on More, we can see that we can start a mind map, we can stamp our team's faces, we can actually add a code block into our FigJam file, we can set a timer, which we know we can also do from up here. We can also add media. This is going to allow you to add content from your computer or device and add it directly to your FigJam file. So it'd be a really great way to add PDFs to your FigJam that you can then have students edit right on top of. You can also add URL links. So maybe you want to embed a Google Doc or you want to find a YouTube video that you want to link in here. You could do that. Maybe I have this video about the nucleus that I want my students to watch, so I can paste that link in here and click add. Now, the beauty is that content comes into FigJam in these tiles. When students zoom into this file, so we can just zoom in, they are able to press play and watch this video, but they can also choose to use these maximize buttons for the video to take up their entire screen. But they are not actually in a brand new tab, and they don't have any of the extra features that YouTube would have. So there's no autoplay, they're not exploring YouTube. All they're doing is watching this one video and staying within your FigJam file. It's a really great classroom management tool. You could do the same thing with websites. So I can choose links, paste a website that I want my students to visit, and now that's as a little card in here, and students can visit that website. It'll take them right to it. Remember that you do have the opportunity to add templates to your FigJam file. So if there's anything that you're just not quite sure, you need help coming up with a design, you can search through here and find something that could work for you. You can also search the education-specific templates live at figma.com/@education. You are able here to look at teacher-created templates as well as FigJam created templates. They actually have a program where they pay teachers to create templates for you. So for example, we have a 3-2-1 exit ticket. If you click on this one, you can scroll down and preview what it would look like and take a look and see if that's really what you want. And then if you're ready to use it, you can click open in FigJam. And you will need to select your Albuquerque Public Schools account. And then it's going to create a new file for you in your drafts with this as the template. And now everything in here is completely editable. You can move things around. You can change the text, all that good stuff. It's all there for you. The templates even have activities that are really great for SEL, brain breaks, extra extension time, creativity, all that. For example, there's a pumpkin decorating activity template that is going to allow students to decorate different pumpkins with some of these different stickers and images, and also, of course, the drawing tool. Within a FigJam file, the comment feature can be really helpful. What it does is once you turn this on, it allows you to stamp onto something to add a comment. And all students that are in this file will be able to see that I left a comment here, and then they can reply to it. They can even insert an image or a GIF from their computer as well. And you can include emojis as well if that's helpful. All of those comments are going to come to a thread here and be visible to you or whoever the owner of the file is. So this is all of the work we have done in just that short amount of time on our FigJam file. As I zoom out, you can see really how big this is. And as I zoom in, you can see how much space we could take up if we wanted to. So if I wanted to work with people in real time, I could click the share button here and I could invite others to join my FigJam file by simply entering their email address. I could also copy this link and anyone within APS could edit. I could change that to be a viewer. I could also change this to be only invited people have access to my file. I can even make it so viewers cannot copy, share, or export this file. They can just simply view it. They can't actually take it with them. If you would like to share a FigJam file with students in Google Classroom, you could do that here, but an even better solution now exists. Inside of an assignment builder in Google Classroom, we now have a FigJam add-on. This is going to allow you to add a FigJam file to an assignment in Google Classroom that allows students to edit and turn in and you to grade that assignment within this Google Classroom. So from your assignment tab, go ahead and scroll down the add-ons until you see FigJam. Click there. You're going to click continue. And now we're going to choose our APS Google account to link our FigJam account with our Google Classroom. We're going to allow FigJam for Google Classroom. And now we're going to click done. So from this window, we can choose any file that already exists, or we could create a new file for students to use. For this example, I'm going to choose this template. Click Add File. And now you get to decide how you want to share it. This first option will allow all students to edit the same file. The second option will make a copy of the same file, but each student gets their own. So this would be everybody working on it collaboratively. This is everybody gets their own copy to work on individually. I'll choose this option for this example. Click Add File. Now this is attached to this, and it even pre-populated a title for me. I'm going to assign it to all students in my classroom. I'm going to give it a due date. I'm going to add it to a topic. You could set your grade category, all of that in here if you'd like to. Then click Assign. Let's look at this from a student point of view. From the student side, they see this assignment now in their classwork section. They can click on it, open up this file. They'll continue to sign into their FigJam account. And allow access. Now the student has the opportunity to interact with this FigJam file within Google Classroom. All they have to do is click Open FigJam. Now the student has the opportunity to edit and respond to this. If the student is done, they are prompted here by this pop-up window to go back to Google Classroom to click Turn In. As a teacher, I can come here and see the student's work that is being done on each of these. I can click to open what they've been working on and see it in real time. So from the teacher side, I can see what this student has been working on, and I could leave them a private comment, and I could grade their work here and return it to them, and they get a grade. And it's all contained within Google Classroom. So easy.